Hi gang sexy, welcome back. We're gonna wrap up Cross Keys. And we're gonna wrap it up 2 turns early. Alright? Why are we gonna wrap it up 2 turns early? Well, muskets at point blank range, probably the biggest reason. Fremont's caution, second biggest reason. And the morale differential, or the cohesion differential between the Confederate troops and Fremont's troops, the Union troops in this game. Not all of them. I mean, there's a lot of Union troops that had high morale. I mean, and a lot of them were, I'd say they were, a good portion were better than average. But they were shooting rifled muskets, which at point blank is only a +1. Then you figure if you're shooting at something in the woods, it's coming back. And then if you're disrupted, you're coming back another one. Now, they did get some good casualty-causing volleys in here during play, but the muskets are +2. Then you figure you're throwing prep fire, +3. So, I mean, with lesser strength, they still had better potential to cause damage, right? So, one of the things that I applied in this game was, with Fremont's caution and what the percentage of that a brigade was going to go into attack, it was built upon the victory point differential. So I kind of figured as the Confederates player, let's not give them the chance to have a strong differential where they could do that. So I went after them as the Confederates and decided to punch them in the face since they were cautious. And over here on the Union left, it was a complete success for the Confederates. Put it this way. Right now, you're looking at the board. All 3 brigades over here, or 2 of the 3 brigades over here are combat ineffective, which makes the division combat ineffective. Over here on the left side of the battlefield, all 3 brigades are combat ineffective, and which makes the division ineffective. So, and the Confederates have 1 brigade over here that's combat ineffective, which just happened on the last turn. But they've got 2 brigades that are pretty much almost untouched, that are getting ready to hit them there too. So I think if this kept going, the Confederates just would have either disintegrated a lot of this, and over here too, or just drive them right off the field. So my suggestion is, and if I played this again, I would probably take the same approach as I did this time with the Confederate forces striking and not waiting on Fremont to take the chance of getting troops into attack formation. As the Union, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't, with this wood line and this high ground sitting here and these troops sitting behind Mill Creek and most of the Union forces being in advance mode, they can't get in there close. Now, granted, they can get their +1 at range, but in order to take the objective, which sits down this road here, the only place to punch would have been right through this gap right here. Well, this is where all the Confederate artillery is pretty much sitting. And you start shooting troops, stacks of troops that are within close range or canister range of artillery, and that gets, lethal. Because they're going to have to close on them if they come in here, while at the same time, the Union cannons can't get close enough to do anything. So could the Union win? Well, yeah, I'm sure with dice rolls they could win this. You get better dice rolls. But, yeah, I believe they have the numbers. They don't have any reinforcements coming on. The Confederates got 2 full brigades of reinforcements, one of Ewell's own and then one from Jackson's. Ewell is the overall commander on this map for this scenario. Like I said, I didn't play the campaign. So I don't think I would have changed. I think the Confederates could have it either way. They could sit back in the woods. If you don't, okay, the muskets at 2 hexes are going to be a minus. So you could simply just pull them back behind the artillery and just protect the flanks of the artillery and let the cannons work. And then once the Union, if they ever got into attack mode, which you notice over here on the left, all 3 brigades finally, 2 of them on the last turn rolled an 8 or a 9. Okay? And there was still only ever 1 over here that was in attack mode. So they never really got that going over here. Now, granted, once the Union can't move within 3 hexes of a Confederate combat unit while they're in advance mode in this scenario. So, but once they were in there, if the Confederates closed the gap, then they didn't have to retreat out of it. but they could never move closer. So I just decided, you know, hey, we'll take the Rebs, run up in there at close range with the muskets and the good morale, and it paid off. I mean, they totally decimated 2 complete batteries over here. So, or this one here would have been abandoned at the end. Oh, matter of fact, they would have got another 5 points for that. Ooh, so that would have made it 26-11. Right now, I got a 10-point victory spread, which means marginal victory, but I got to add that abandoned set of guns. That'll take it up 5 more points. That means this was going to be a tactical victory for the Confederates. So there you have it. Cross Keys. You got to remember, too, that, you know, Jackson had been winning all kinds of victories in the Valley. Why should this one have been any different? This one, I think, sets up well for the Confederates on the defense, or, as in my case, where I went I went after them on the right side. I didn't go after them on the left side because I had the best terrain over here as the Confederates. And I did everything I could. I initially started to come down the middle with the Union because that's what I saw the strategy going for that objective is. And then that was an epic fail because of these guns. So I pulled the brigades back that were here in the middle. Never got this one started again. Eventually I shifted Milroy over here with the rest of the division to try to maybe hit this flank. And Stewart's little 4-regiment brigade over here was doing fine. They eventually had to have Elzey shift over a couple of regiments to help. But that musket firepower, you know, is just lethal. And if you're up there, and I mean, I even had some where I ended up with a 2 and a big D. And if you're already disrupted, you just took 3 step losses. So it wasn't hard to collapse a regiment, all right, with that kind of fire going on. You know, and not that it happened every time I rolled the dice, but I had a lot of times I rolled, I didn't do anything, which was kind of a stunner considering I was firing 7 muskets, prep fire, at point-blank range, and the enemy was in the clear and not get a hit. All right, so there, we've wrapped up Cross Keys. The next one from this box we're probably going to play is going to be Port Republic, which is over to my right over here. We got a couple other things sitting up we're fixing to dive into. Some OSG Napoleonics, Library of Napoleonic Games. We're still continuing with TCS. I got the infantry combat scenario set up. I think it's scenario number 2 from the Bloody Omaha, Bloody 110, whatever it's called. And then I've got Air Court from BCS mode they're playing. All right, let's get this posted. Confederate Tactical Victory, the Battle of Cross Keys, June 8th, 1862. And we'll see y'all soon.